everybody. Welcome to episode 19 of Valiant Effort. My name is Josh.
And I'm Nick. The name is H.A.R.D. Corpse. It's H period, A period, R period, D period, corpse.
Well, a lot of them are corpses, but it's pronounced hardcore.
I have been very busy all day long, so I haven't had a chance to eat. So if you hear, that's me eating.
The Harbinger Wars are over, and Harada won. One of the things he gained was Bloodshot. Harada begins extracting his nanites. Project Rising Spirit wants Bloodshot back. Kozel, the new director of PRS, convinces Charles Palmer, codenamed Gunslinger, to stay aboard as leader of the Hardcore. Palmer's previous teammate Maniac is also on the team, along with rookies Granite, Superstar, and Disciple. The new team infiltrates one of the Harbinger Foundation installations on a rescue mission for Bloodshot. The rescue mission doesn't go well. Maniac dies, so the rest of the team can escape with Bloodshot. When they get back to Hardcore headquarters, Kozel is upset to find that Harada still has control of a large number of Bloodshot's nanites. Kozel offers Bloodshot access to files that have information about who he was before the nanite transfusion if he will join the team to retrieve the nanites. 3 new recruits join the team: Vagabond, Genius, and Lifeline. After some quick training sessions, Hardcore and Bloodshot return to Harada's base of operations. Bloodshot retrieves his nanites, Superstar dies, saving Gunslinger. After the battle, Kozel gives Bloodshot his file. Why do I always throw it? But those are my notes. I still need to read things off of that paper. So now I have to stand up and go get this piece of paper that I dramatically threw away for effect that no one will see because this is radio.
This is internet radio.
Internet. It's not even real radio. It's internet radio.
This is radio evolved.
That's right. Where you decide what you want to listen to.
Exactly.
And millions of people have decided to listen to us. So is this a Bloodshot story or a hardcore story?
I think it's a hardcore story.
And are you okay with Bloodshot not being the main character of his own book?
Yeah, because he's still in it quite a lot, and he's still kind of the focus of the story, where he's taken away and he's incapacitated. And now they need to go and retrieve him, and it's interesting to see how Bloodshot isn't working properly.
Yeah, that's nice that he's kind of debilitated a little bit, because he's one of my complaints is that he's been too powerful.
Agreed.
Driving me crazy.
I did that on purpose.
You're driving me crazy. Why did you put so much food in your mouth?
Because I'm trying to eat it fast so that I don't have to worry about eating it later. I'm almost done. It's good to see Bloodshot not able to use his powers, because I agree with you that he is overpowered. So it's nice to see that he actually has a weakness.
Yeah, you know that one of my complaints on this book has been that he's got too many abilities. And even in this book, they twice mentioned that he can shapeshift, which I still not a big fan of him having that ability. But
and he still really hasn't done it, except for when they've said that he could shapeshift.
That one time in the first book.
Yeah,
that's
where
really
even his clothes changed
Oh, and
color.
also in the 4th book when he was the helicopter guy.
Oh, that's right. He did do that.
So we have a new creative team, new writer.
And illustrator, I'm assuming?
Yeah. So we have a new writer. Christos Gage is the main writer, and he's being assisted by Joshua Dysart, who writes Harbinger, which is kind of neat because the Harbinger universe, part of the universe, figures in here a lot. And then the art is done by Emanuela Lupacchino, who did the Eternal Warrior arc of Archer and Armstrong. So this is her second foray into the Valiant universe. I think the drawings are great.
Drawings are great. Palmer looks a little too young to me.
He does look young. Lupacchino tends to draw people who looking younger. I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, Palmer looks to me low 40s, which totally contrasts with his white wings on his hair.
The Reed Richards look.
Sure. I don't know who that is.
Mr. Fantastic.
Oh.
From...
See, I think of Paulie from Sopranos has that hair.
Oh, okay.
See?
I don't know.
Exactly.
You showed me the first season of Sopranos.
Yeah.
I like the episode where they went to Maine. That's the standout for me. Where the girl is looking at...
They went to New... Oh, was that Maine?
I don't know.
I don't think that was... Was that Maine?
But then he found a guy.
Yeah, that was that's one of the top 10.
Yeah.
That's on everyone's top 10 list.
That was a good episode. I really hope that when I go gray, that I have that. Like that. I think that's a very distinguished look.
It's a cool look. It makes you look pretty badass.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
But yeah, he does look a little young, like 40s, in contrast with his 60-year-old type supposed look.
Is that how you think? How old do you think he's supposed to be?
I think he's supposed to be in his low 60s, maybe high 50s.
I thought he was like in his late 40s, early 50s.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the white hair that's making me go to the older edge. It is interesting to see a lot more powers that that Lifeline is able to give these people, like the ghost ability.
Yeah.
So somewhere along the line, they had to find someone, some Sayat that had that ability.
I like how in ghost mode you can't breathe.
Yeah,
that was clever. Like,
well,
oftentimes when we see people who have powers, we don't, see what the disadvantage to that power is.
Well, I feel like they added that disability in there because ghost mode seemed a little bit too powerful.
Yeah, it's a little too easy.
Yeah. So they had to have some kind of reason to, like, why you wouldn't use it all the time.
I really liked in the first issue how much time we spent with the hardcore, how much time we spent with Palmer in particular as he tried to get his team to be the way it was, and his arguments with Kozel. There's a lot of boardroom scenes, but they're not boring. I thought that the interactions throughout the first book were very realistic. I liked the three characters that they introduced as well: Superstar, Granite, and Disciple.
Superstar kind of looks like Superman to me, the way that he's looking in this one image where he's talking on the
he's got that Clark
TV.
Kent look. Yeah.
And then also, I'm jumping ahead a little bit to now where Bloodshot is getting the nanites extracted from him. I didn't realize that they were taking Johnny from him at this point. I thought he was just taking... Harada was just taking just whatever nanites he could from him. But that looks painful. This giant lesion just coming out of his neck. And then he puts it in a little container and takes it away. And that's apparently... I didn't think that was really going to hurt him too much. But it did. As it did. But what exactly did it keep him from doing? I mean, did it keep him from regenerating just a little bit? Because it didn't really seem explained to me other than he couldn't walk.
The nanites?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little curious about that. I always was under the impression that the nanites were kind of self-replicating, so that if he lost some nanites, they would come back. Obviously, Harada has taken enough that it's weakened him somehow.
It was later on stated that it was Johnny and so that kind of makes sense, but it just didn't feel like I didn't know.
Isn't every nanite Johnny?
Yeah, well, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
I thought it was like
because
the collective conscience of them.
Because when we see the interaction between the nanites still in Bloodshot and the nanites that are not in Bloodshot at the end, those are both represented by Johnny.
Apparently, he has siblings in there too, which they never really brought up before, and all of a sudden now we need two siblings, or one sibling, of Johnny. Because after Johnny says that he needs to go back into Bloodshot later on and grab his brother.
No, his brothers.
Yeah.
He's talking about the nanites that are not in him. The nanites that are still in Bloodshot.
Right.
But he's not but there's not like other representations.
So there's not like a Johnny or a Mark and a Chris.
Right.
So it's just other little miniature Johnnies, just a collective.
Yeah, that's how the nanites have chosen to represent themselves to Bloodshot so far.
Okay.
Although there were times when they were representing himself as his wife.
Okay. I took it as when he said brothers, I thought he meant there are other parts of nanite consciousness, whatever you pronounce it. In him.
I guess I always thought of it myself as that they were a collective. and then these nanites were taken out of the collective, and they became something else. But once they were put back in the collective, they were reintegrated and became what they were before.
Okay. That makes sense too. Maybe more so than what I thought it was. So, all right, and then there's this picture here where Granite is getting her skull taken open.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
That's pretty gross.
That's not the only scalpel removal we'll see in this too.
Scalp removal.
Yes. I said it wrong, and then I said it again with the hopes that you will edit it with the correct way of saying it.
I don't really edit a lot
I
of
didn't mean to
days.
say scalpel the first time. They used the scalpel to remove her scalp.
In this panel here, they're saying that she doesn't need to worry about the pain in her brain, but she will be feeling it later on.
Yeah.
So do you think that it's...
Okay. Full disclosure, a little inside podcasting here. The other day I was talking to Nick, and I said, what word?
Psychosemantic.
I said the word psychosemantic in a sentence, and Nick said, boy, that's a great word. I said, you got to find a way to integrate that word into our next podcast. This is like the genie's word in Phil Rubin's show, Pee-wee's Playhouse. He always had a word of the day. This is like that.
Okay. So, do you think that it's psychosemantic?
Somatic.
Do you think it's psychosomatic?
Sorry, correcting you is just semantics.
This episode is off the wall. That she is now feeling pain 2 weeks later. Is it because they told her she'd feel pain, or is it in her mind?
I think that it's like, you know how when people lose a limb and they have
the phantom pains.
They have the prosthesis, and that is painful to wear. Because we still as a species haven't perfected having things on our body that are not natural. Just like, when we wear shoes, we get blisters.
Yeah.
So she's got these machines in her head, and I think those are causing the pain.
Okay.
Kind of like,
that makes sense.
Kind of like when you and I know somebody who had a traumatic accident, and they have a hard time walking, and she has this thing in her legs that send electrical signals to her to help her walk better. But it's not the most pleasant feeling, but it does help her leg go in a straight line. So it might be like that.
And just more intense.
But more intense, yeah. And you notice as they use the powers more and more, they get more and more used to it.
But they also said that if most people die their first use of it.
Yeah.
Did I misinterpret that?
I think you did.
Oh. The way I understood it is that they die from the pain. So if you make it through, then you're golden.
Oh, okay. I did not get that at all. Do you like Granite?
Yeah, Granite's cool. I like Granite. I like them all.
Do you like her motivations for?
Yeah, her motivations are like when she in the TV show when she was on the TV and she said she had 2 kids, she had a whole bunch of jobs just to support her kids. At first, when I saw the word 2 kids, I'm like, well, why would you want to sacrifice yourself if you have 2 kids? But then her reasonings afterwards, because she needs to support them, then yeah.
And Superstar, do you think that he's a little too cardboardy?
He does feel like a generic military soldier.
Uh-huh.
And then Disciple.
I kind of like Disciple the best of the three of those guys.
I'm kind of indifferent towards Disciple, but none of them annoy me. Really.
Okay,
so I like them all.
Cool.
And they're all cool for me. I like them all. But I think I'd have to go with Granite as the most my favorite out of the three of those people there.
I like the comparison to the usage of the powers to getting the brain implants and knowing that you're doing it kind of you know that you're okay with doing it. They compared it to people who play football.
Yeah, I liked that comparison too.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. That's a pretty relevant topic.
Well, according to Palmer, this is not football though. We're playing with people's lives.
That's right.
So I mean, yeah, stakes are a little higher, but it was a good comparison.
It was a long, detailed first ix, but I liked it, and I liked it even though it felt like Hardcore #1 as opposed to Bloodshot #14.
Was Hardcore made aware of what they were getting into? Because it seemed to that they alluded to that they had no idea. When Kozo was telling Palmer they've given their full consent knowing exactly what they're getting themselves into, it sounded like Palmer didn't know what he was getting himself into back in the day.
Yeah, I have a feeling that previous administrators for Project Rising Spirit probably were misleading their operatives. So vague news, we're probably going to learn a little bit more about that later. Okay. So did you notice on the second page of the second issue, Gunslinger copping a feel on Bloodshot?
I didn't really notice the cop in the feel.
I remember when I was reading this issue, and Karen leaned over and she looked at it and she goes, "Why are Gunslinger's hands right there?"
Good question. I had a question. Why does Bloodshot never wear a shirt?
Or when he does wear a shirt, why is he wearing a shirt that conveniently has the logo on it?
Yeah, the red circle on it.
He's got to show off that logo, man, and he's got some sweet abs.
I guess he just when he was sitting in a chair at one point when he actually did not need to not have a shirt off. Just put a shirt on, man. You don't always need to not have a shirt on. How many knots can I have in a sentence? I tied a knot, not the other day, but not yesterday.
No, you're not tying the knot until next year.
Well, that's not this year.
A year from today?
A year from today, that's right.
Oh, Nick's getting married in a year from today, guys. So, speaking of marriage, did you notice that they played a little game of Kill, Marry, Screw?
No.
Yeah, they talked about it there. So now here's my question, Nick. In the Valiant universe, who's your Kill, Marry, Screw?
Oh boy. Okay. Let's revisit this later on where after Easter eggs or something so that I can have time to think about it.
Okay, all right. Stay tuned for Nick's Kill, Marry, Screw. I've already got mine in my head, but that's okay.
I certainly do not.
So they come across a Sciot named Panic, and Panic has awesome powers. Panic doesn't last very long, but Panic has awesome powers where they can cause people to have panic. What does it say? Able to psychically induce paralyzing fear in others. That's a cool power. And I remember when I was reading the book the first time, it's like, why are these guys acting this way? So I kind of like how it was almost a 2-page mystery as to why they were behaving the way they were until they told us who Panic was and his powers.
I did have the same question. I was wondering, they're flying, and all of a sudden now they're scared that they're falling and they're really high and they're gonna die, and I didn't see the transition there, so I thought that maybe I had missed something in translation. But then it turned out to be Panic. So that was like, oh, it was a nice little aha moment. That it was Panic. Yeah, but he didn't last long. The way that they introduced him, I thought he was going to last at least for another issue or two. But nope.
Well, you know what? And that's a good segue. A lot of characters don't last long in this story.
No.
Maniac, he dies.
Yeah.
Not surprising, Maniac was the first member of Hardcore to die in the original series.
Oh.
So I wasn't surprised that he died, but the way that he died was brutal.
The way that he...
It is gross. I mean, Harada just rips his brain out of his skull.
That was completely unexpected
Yeah.
to me. I thought that maybe Harada would just kind of engulf him in some flame and maybe make him disintegrate, or he just turns into a white ball of goo or something. I don't know. I didn't expect to see his brain fly out the back of his head with those little neuron things still attached, which I think Harada was trying to go for. He was trying to get that information and do experiments on, right? But PRS has already made those precautions, and they make it detonate within 10 seconds or so. That's what he said, right?
And then the Maniac support team guy, I love his line, "Worst boss fight ever."
Yeah. That was funny.
Which is a very insensitive thing to say, but I guess those guys in the support room, they kind of feel like they're playing a video game. That how could they not? So I like disciple using God to justify killing, which is a subject with a lot of depth.
Yep.
If you are a believer in God, I feel like you should never use him to justify killing. I feel like you're missing the point.
But here's the thing.
Oh, yes. Here we go. Yeah. Another path.
God ordered Abraham to kill his son.
This is the reason, this exact thing that you're talking about is the exact reason that I stopped my confirmation. Is because I didn't understand how he could do that.
Yeah.
I kept asking my confirmation teacher, but why is he being a jerk?
I understand what the point is supposed to be. So, if God were to come down right now, okay, and say, "I want you to kill your mother to prove that you worship me," would you, not you, but you, honorific, anybody, would you do that because God told you to? This guy probably would. Maybe he wouldn't. But that right there lies in some of the controversy of this whole little line here.
Yeah,
that says God gave me the okay to do this.
These were the things that I didn't understand. Why people would justify their horrible actions by saying that they were doing it in the name of God. Like the Crusades, for example, or the Spanish Inquisition. You know, those are not good moments in history. I would think that faith in God would steer you into justifying not hurting people. That's all I have to say about that. So now we're introduced to 3 new members. Vagabond, who's peeing in a garbage can. Genius, and Flatline.
What is Vagabond's deal?
He's a hobo who likes his alcohol.
Why did they pick him?
Because he's compatible.
Because he's compatible. Same thing with Genius.
Yep.
So did the brain implants improve his intelligence?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Flowers for Algernon thing.
Oh, wow, that was a good story.
Yeah. So what's your favorite of these 3?
I liked... there was Genius, there was Vagabond,
and Lifeline.
None of them really made an impact on me.
Okay.
Really.
You like the other 3 better?
Yeah.
I like these 3 more. Interesting.
I thought maybe I would like Vagabond, but I just didn't get enough of his personality.
Yeah.
Sure, I mean he's wide-eyed and says gnarly when they're implanting Bloodshot with the PRS stuff, which I thought was really cool, by the way.
Yeah.
That they gave him Lifeline. Yeah. I didn't really have a...
I think Lifeline was I think Flatline was my favorite of these new recruits. I kind of like the thought of one of these hardcore members having a death wish.
I think that her motives make the most sense to me because she knows she's going to die, so why not just go out fighting? Just do whatever she wants to do. Live life. Everyone else has good reasons too, but I think hers makes the most sense to me.
And then we get Bloodshot versus Harada round 2.
Yeah.
This time he did not vomit nanites.
Yeah, and I mean Harada didn't. I mean the fight didn't last too long though. I mean, Bloodshot just ran around him real fast.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah. And punched him in the head, but
I agree with you. I did like how Bloodshot got those powers for a little bit. Radiation. Like he had powers that the other ones can't use, which was kind of neat.
One of the most useless powers though that they used was sleep. I'm thinking of the Psyot that they had to take that from, and what's his power? Sleep? He just falls asleep?
No, I think he puts people to sleep.
I'm thinking of like Rowan Atkinson from the Rat Race just falling asleep all the time.
Did you just really reference Rat Race?
Yes, I did.
10 people saw that movie.
I love that movie. I will reference it if I want to.
I did learn the phrase prairie dogging it from that movie.
Prairie dog. I'm prairie dogging.
So Kozel gave Superstar a super secret mission, and that super secret mission was to get the Generation Zero kids back for Project Rising Spirit.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very interesting that they were imprisoned when Harada said that they wouldn't be imprisoned.
Yeah, well, Harada also said don't torture Bloodshot when he was clearly giving his okay to torture Bloodshot.
Yeah.
So I think Harada is saying these things out loud just to make himself feel better.
I see. Okay. If I say it out loud, then it doesn't count.
Right.
Okay.
Well, some people do
I
that.
think that he has plans to have Generation Zero out of prison, when he's got them pacified, but
either that or he's got to justify. He justifies in his head why they need to be in prison, or why they need to torture Bloodshot. Maybe they don't. He doesn't really want to do it, but just this one time because it really needs to be done.
Yeah.
But then after that, everything's no more. Oh, but we need to do it one more time.
So we had Harada versus Bloodshot. Then we got Harada versus Gunslinger, which was kind of cool. Gunslinger kind of held his own. And then we got Harada versus Superstar.
Yeah, that didn't work.
And Superstar died.
Superstar died real fast, and I didn't really understand what happened to him. Did he disintegrate?
Yeah, he just got poofed out of existence.
Yeah. It looked pretty painful. I was kind of hoping he might live a little bit longer.
Well, I'm also not surprised that Superstar died because Superstar was the second member of Hardcore to die in the original Valiant.
Oh, really?
Universe. Yes.
Oh, so they're not new members in the old one?
There was a Superstar in the old one.
Was not
a Granite or a Disciple in the old one, and there was not a Vagabond or Genius in the old one, but there was a Flatline in the old one.
There was a Flatline,
but totally different character.
Huh. Things are changing.
Superstar was a pretty different character too.
What did Bloodshot absorb from Harada? He's like lifeline, absorption,
energy. I don't know. Like maybe he's roguing it.
And then I love this other line here from Lifeline. It's Bloodshot, your brain can't handle that much psychic energy. You're killing yourself. Like, oh, it's Johnny.
Yeah.
It's Johnny again. So really, he could just keep doing it because he's not going to kill himself.
My favorite line was also from this book, when just after Superstar is killed, and Gunslinger is confronting Harada, and Harada said, Gunslinger is trying to figure, why aren't you killing me? And Harada says, shall I cure my enemy's cancer?
Yeah.
That was great.
So Gunslinger has cancer.
No. Gunslinger is the cancer inside of Project Rising Spirit.
Oh. Okay.
He sees that that he doesn't agree with Project Rising
I
Spirit's
see.
methods, and why would he take that player off the board uh, when Project Rising Spirit could be destroyed from within, as opposed to
Okay.
him having to do anything?
I mean, I did think that way, but I wasn't. For some reason, I went with a more literal route.
I see.
I don't know why. Because
Well,
Harada's all powerful. He can see like anything he wants.
That's
to,
true.
so-
Yeah, he probably has like X-ray, and he can see tumors and stuff. And he may have cancer because how long has he had these implants in him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I kind of thought that, but. Went that
But
way.
I like these 4 issues. It was pretty action oriented. Attack Harada headquarters, attack Harada headquarters a second time. But I thought it was a good journey. It's besides that one line from Disciple, it's not really that deep. There's not much really for me to talk about in that regard. But I didn't feel like it was a nothing story. I thought it was a good progression of the characters. I like introducing Bloodshot into this new unit. I kind of like that he has a unit. That he's
He's joined forces with people that he didn't like.
that he's working with soldiers, and that's what these guys are. And I really like these 4 stories. And then at the end we get the Bloodshot number 0.
Yeah, that was a fun story to read.
So I really like their placement of Bloodshot number 0 because Bloodshot number 0 actually came out before number 14.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it came out between Harbinger Wars.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it came out between Harbinger Wars and the hardcore story. But it really fits very nicely at the end of this volume because Kozel gives him this file, and then it's like we're reading that file,
right?
Which was really cool. I'm really glad that they chose to place it at the end of the book instead of at the beginning of the book,
right? Because that's going against what they've been doing. This is the first 0 issue that's at the end rather than being at the beginning, like the other ones. This 0 issue was pretty neat. I was trying to figure out if these first. If there has been more than one Bloodshot. It looks like there was more than one Bloodshot.
Yes, there was.
And
one of them was Afro Bloodshot, which is awesome. Yeah. I want to find Crisscross is the guy who drew this, and I want to find him at a convention because I have a blank sketch cover, and I really want an Afro Bloodshot sketch.
Is the first Bloodshot in this very first page, though, is that the Bloodshot we know?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. There's Afro Bloodshot. There were
there was World War II Bloodshot, and then Vietnam Afro Bloodshot.
And I didn't really understand what I couldn't grasp what the nanites were actually doing. What this one scientist with his head in his hand who's saying, "Oh, I figured out what exactly needs to be done, and I'm gonna put these notes underneath a trash can just in case I die." And they didn't really explain, except he did explain that they need a soul, or they're looking for the soul, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was. Let's talk about souls. So I thought that was a great concept. That Bloodshot is just the previous Bloodshots, and Bloodshot before he met this scientist was just a killing machine until they introduced something else. And finding out what that something else was, this concept of collecting memories just before people die, that you're trying to capture that thing that we are before we are no longer. And that is what makes us human. And so they're trying to make Frankenstein's monster human.
Yeah,
essentially. And I thought that was really a really neat concept. Matt Kint is the writer of this. This is the first time you're going to see Matt Kint's work. It will not be the last time you see his work. He does some really cool, thought-provoking, like you put it down and you go, that was very interesting. And he does a lot of comics that kind of stay with you. you think about them later.
I was completely wrong about the whole Japan thing, by the way, because they're saying that I guess that's where they put all the information into that red circle on his chest. Well, it's like just a blaring weak spot. It looks like a weak spot.
It's just it's a scar that doesn't heal.
But okay.
Hold on to the Japan stuff though, because in the original Valiant universe there was a connection, and maybe there will be later too.
Fake news?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
They haven't done it yet, but it's an assumption of mine.
Okay,
that there'll be some connections.
And then this next subject in 1993, the one that's popping off people's heads.
Yeah.
Is that the Bloodshot that we now know?
You know, he doesn't say, which is both brilliant and frustrating. But I kind of think it is. I kind of think that guy is Bloodshot. Yeah.
I'm thinking, my way of thinking it is because we see him going in and killing everybody, and then everybody kills him and guts him.
Yeah, we got a lot of pages of him for it not to be the Bloodshot that we know.
But he looks completely different before he was Bloodshot. So I just don't know if maybe that's just the artist changing the way that he looks.
This is a different artist than we've seen. Yeah, the first artist, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
There was this image here where it looks like Bloodshot's shooting out the back of his head. Is that symbolic of him getting rid of his past persona? Or is there somebody there? I can't figure it out.
There's somebody there, yeah.
There's somebody there.
Yeah, he's fighting somebody. The person's behind him, so he just shoots.
Then why is there like visages of his hands and
because he moves so fast.
Oh. But, okay. It's just from one page to the next. One page, he's getting out of this bath, and then he's shooting the back of his... That's not how you kill bugs. This is not... We're not going to have an episode of Fly from Breaking Bad. We're not going to be doing this. There's no contamination. Oh, you got it!
I got it!
No! Oh, you stunned it! Oh, now you have bug guts all over you.
No, I don't. There's no bug guts on me. Okay.
Okay.
We can now move on.
I had already moved on. You didn't move on. You're the one that tried to kill it. Bloodshot kind of looks like Clint Eastwood in this picture to me. Where he's standing tall. This guy where he kills him. So, yeah.
I really like the Zero issue.
Zero issue was phenomenal. I really enjoyed reading the Zero issue.
This is now our...
I'm so glad.
This is our fourth Zero issue. They've all been good.
I'm so glad to finally know what's going on with Bloodshot. Who he is, where he came from, why they made him, where his memories came from. There's a whole bunch of answered questions in this Zero issue, and it's just so nice to know what is going on.
So the last thing that's collected in this trade is they have the little short story, Who Will Lead the Hardcore? Which was that was
a fun episode. Fun thing.
Yeah, it was promotional stuff that they put in the back of some comics. They're just trying to get people into buying issue 14. So I'm certain that it's not canon because these people would not be in this room being interviewed. But I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed reading them, and they're nice and quick. They're only 1 page, maybe 2 pages long.
Yeah, and that was written by Jim Zub. And
was that all in one sequence, or was that just a whole bunch of compilations thrown together?
When it was in the when it first appeared, it was all as one thing.
Okay,
but it would have been kind of cool if they had. I mean, it's written that it could have been, one at a time. So, what's your favorite cover?
I kind of like the Samurai Champloo one.
Is that this one?
Yes.
Okay. So your favorite cover is the number 14 variant, issue number 14 variant by Raphael Grandpa.
Yeah, it was a toss-up between that one or the Wolfenstein 3D one. Again, it's good. It's so tough to not pick the 8-bit graphic times, even though that's better than 8-bit graphics. But that's definitely a throwback to actually Doom, not Wolfenstein 3D. That's
I think no, I think that the writer said that this was the artist said that he was doing Wolfenstein, not Doom.
oh, well, everything else looks like Doom to me.
Well, maybe
The way that he's holding the gun.
the room behind.
But the only thing that looks like Wolfenstein is the way that Harada looks.
Yeah,
He looks like one of the imps from Doom. He looks like, I don't know. It's a mix between the two. I mean, I know Doom was heavily influenced by Wolfenstein 3D, so it's basically the same thing. But I really like the Samurai Champloo one because it's very, very artistic and detailed and has a lot of just prettiness to it.
yeah. It's my favorite cover too. I was very excited when I found this cover for a good price because it's going for some good cash. So it has nothing to do with the story at hand, but that's okay. This guy is a very he's a pretty prolific and famous artist.
Is he?
Yeah, so it's pretty neat that they got him. I also want to do honorable mentions to the regular cover for number 17 by Riley Rosmo, and I also like the variant to number 17 by Emanuela Lupacchino with the
with the Minecraft looking heads.
Yeah, those things are pretty neat.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
So
seeing Palmer in Bloodshot just totally not being serious. Bloodshot looks so sad that his came out that way.
So did you like this book?
I enjoyed it very much. It was very fun to read. I had to read half of it in the dark, like I said, because
I hope you had like cell phone light or something.
I had like dim lighting above me, which spilled over on top of where I was. It was just on the ceiling. So I had to read it really close to my face to see the words. I had a hard time reading this, not because it was hard to read, but just I read one story one day, and then I read 3 more in the nighttime, and then I read another one the next day. Thought I had read all of it, and then I was flipping through the pages. And then I was like, oh, I don't recognize that page. Oh, I did it again. I forgot a page. And then I flipped through to the next page. And I don't recognize that one either. I don't recognize that one either. I missed an entire issue. It was the one before the 0 issue that I skipped. I have no idea how I did that. I have no idea, but I did.
You need a bookmark.
Well, every time I use a bookmark, it falls out, or you take them out.
Oh yeah, that did happen.
Yes.
Yeah. I liked it too. I like this direction more than the Bloodshot stuff that we were reading before. I thought the Bloodshot on his own with Kara, that stuff was okay. I thought it was pretty good, and I enjoyed it. I don't know if you remember me saying that the first time I read it, it wasn't my favorite thing. And I didn't necessarily know what was going on. This I enjoyed right away. I like this take on Bloodshot. I like the new writers. I like the art by Lupacchino. I like hardcore a lot. I always enjoyed that book in the original series of that book. So I think it was a great package and then to package it with 0 and also to include the promotional materials in the back as well. It's definitely worth my money.
I think the art is very clean in this.
Yeah, she has trade. A very clean art style,
and I really liked that. It didn't look. There's not too many scratches or line crisscross hatches. I liked it a lot. I liked the art, and I also liked the story, as we said as well. I mean, I think this one you could just pick up without knowing Bloodshot or hardcore and just get right into it. And
certainly, yeah, this is a very good starting point for new readers. Absolutely.
So I really like this one. I think it's a good one to recommend.
Cool. You want to see what we're doing next?
Do we do that next, or we do Easter eggs?
Oh, Easter eggs. I totally forgot Easter eggs.
Oh.
I totally forgot Easter eggs, and we also have to do.
Yep. I haven't forgot about that either.
Okay. Easter eggs. I just played air guitar.
You do that every time.
So the thing that I liked the most was Flatline. Flatline was a character in the original Valiant universe. He was a lot different.
Well,
That's one
right
difference. So Flatline in this, I think she's a tough character. Her motivations for wanting to be in hardcore are totally understandable. She has cystic fibrosis. The Valiant Fans board at valiantfans.com, which I recommend to any Valiant fan to join that board because it's a wonderful community. One of the things that they're known for is they've done projects over the years. When there were no new books to get, they would do these projects to so they had something to get, where they would get special limited signed editions of books or something like that. And they would raise money for charity, and the charity that they raised money for was cystic fibrosis. And I don't think it's an accident that the writers of this chose that as her disease. There's a Valiant connection to that disease in particular, and I'm glad that they picked that one. And I think cystic fibrosis is an awful disease, and you should give money to charity for them. If you're going to dump a bucket on your head, give money to cystic fibrosis, because nobody's dumping buckets of ice water on their head for that disease. And they could use the money. So that's my Easter egg. I thought it was very neat that they included her, and that was the disease they gave her.
I had a mini one, and I'm trying to find it, and I can't find it or remember what it was.
That's.
I remember we talked about it, and I was about to say it, but I was like, no, I'm going to save that for the Easter egg. But I have no idea what it was. Ion was in here.
Yes, from Harbinger, yeah.
Right. So that's a little.
That's neat, yeah. And Stronghold was in here too.
Yeah, Stronghold's in here too. But Ion was a much more minor character in Harbinger. So I thought that was interesting that they brought him back, and that he seems a lot stronger than he was in those first books. So
Ion.
Should I keep my eye on
yes
on him?
You should. He's a major player coming up soon.
I had that feeling when we met him way back in Harbinger that at some point he'd be a key player. It's like the adversary to Peter Stanchek. Oh man, I wish.
So you don't know it?
No, I don't know. I mean, the only way I could know it is if we stopped and I went back. But...
So have you figured out your Kill, Marry, Screw?
Yeah. Okay. So for kill, I think it's weird, but I'd probably go for Dark.
My kill is going to be Harada. I think the Valiant universe would be a lot safer place without him on the board.
Good point. So you have a real reason.
Yeah.
I don't like you, so I'm going to kill you.
Who's your Mary?
My Mary is Charlene Flamingo.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I would have thought that would be your Screw. Okay.
Well, that's why I marry her.
Oh, so that could be continuous Screw.
Yes. Because that she was originally the Screw, but then I'm thinking, no, I'm going to marry, just keep it going.
Okay.
See, thinking prudently here.
My Mary would be Faith. I think that she and I would get along very well, and that's who I pick.
And my Screw would be Mary Maria.
Oh, that's a good answer.
It's twins.
It's twins.
Yes, it is.
My Screw would be Kay McHenry, the Geomancer.
Oh, yes, good one. Not the monkey.
Not the monkey, no. No, I didn't say Mother Earth. I said... Well, that was a good game. Hey, Nick, you want to see what we're reading next?
Yeah.
I'm super excited to hand you this book.
Just super excited.
What do you think?
Harbinger.
Oh, you're ready for Harbinger?
I think it's gonna be Harbinger.
If I were to hand you something that wasn't Harbinger that I was super excited to hand you, what do you think it would be?
Be Rye.
Oh, we're not there yet. The Rye trade hasn't even come out yet, so...
Unity.
I don't know what that is. I'm not familiar with that word.
Again, we've already had this conversation. Unity means when a whole bunch of people get together as one.
Oh, okay. All right. So I am now handing Nick the next trade, and here it is.
Oh, it's the Eternal Warrior!
Woo!
Oh my god, I love this picture.
Yeah, Volume 1 of the Eternal Warrior, Sword of the Wild.
Okay, this is probably going to be the best ever.
Nick has high expectations.
Oh, look at that. Clayton Crane.
Yes, you just opened to the... That's amazing. So you just opened to a random page, you saw that it was Clayton Crane's artwork, and you were able to identify his artwork and his name. You are turning into a comic book reader, Nick.
I am far from comic book reader. There are still lots of questions I have about reading comic books, which I have been compiling a list in my head to ask you.
Okay. Well, you should bring them up next time. But until then, you can reach us at VE Podcast or email us
oh my god,
VEPodcast at gmail.com.
I'm gonna go over here and read this. It's so good.
You can go on our website, vepodcast.wordpress.com. Please listen to our next episode, which we're about to record right now. Nick and I are going to be exhausted by the end of the day. We are about to play the RPG and talk about the RPG, and our friends are entering the building right now to do that, and we're very excited. So stay tuned. Here comes Brady right now. He's got the book in hand, and we're about to do the RPG. So stay tuned for our next episode. Thank you thank you. Say hi, Brady.
Greetings, heroes and villains.
So thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye. One of my complaints is that he's been too powerful.
Agreed.
Driving me crazy.
I did that on purpose.
You're driving me crazy. Why did you put so much food in your mouth?
Because I'm trying to eat it fast so that I don't have to worry about eating it later. I'm almost done. I do agree.
I don't even know what I asked anymore.
Oh.
What did I ask you?
You asked... What did you say?
I don't know. Play back the tape.
Okay.
No, don't play back the tape.
Oh.
Just finish eating.
Okay. I'm gonna pause.
And we're back. Nick is now sans food, but he's choking because he ate too fast.
Well, because I drank my Poland spring water too fast.
Don't buy bottled water.
I actually I like bread. Okay.
Bottled water is destroying America and the world.
I have a conversation. I could have a conversation about this right now, as I agree with you, but we're not supposed to be talking about that right now. We're supposed to be talking about Bloodshot.
Oh, okay. So we were talking about what were we talking about? We were talking about Bloodshot being the side character in his own book.
I guess we could have gone back and listened while I was eating.
Well, we didn't. The most unprofessional podcast. Can you have the most unprofessional podcast? Podcasts by their very nature are unprofessional. And we are now scraping the bottom.
Oh my god, our listeners are killing us right now.